And Mrs. Benrubi, thank you so much for agreeing to speak with us today.
Why not?
About your very special story. Let's begin at the beginning. Could you tell us your name at birth and when and where you were born?
I born in Nausa, N-A-O-U-S-A, Macedonia, Macedonia, Greece. Macedonia is the northern part of Greece, the northern state. And that's where Alexander the Great is from. My town is up here. He's from the town of Pella. When I was in the first grade, the teacher took us to see Alexander the Great's town, Pella. And I thought we will see him, 7 years old, 1932.
Very good. What's your date of birth?
March 13, 1925.
And what was your name at birth?
Eleni Makas.
Very good. And your parents' names?
Lambros, my father, Aspasia Makas. My father was from the middle part of Greece. My mother was from Albania. The Albanian people, the Muslims, threw them out in 1912. And everybody came to Macedonia because it's near. The Greek Macedonia with, the Albania, Yugoslavia, Bulgaria. They are all over Macedonia.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many siblings did you have?
We were 9 children. I'm the third child, born in March 13, 1925.
Okay.
Yeah.
What kind of work did your father do?
He was we were the most industrial town in Europe. Nausa, Macedonia, Greece. My father was the, waiting at the door at the factories. 8 people were. We were working 4,000 people in the factory, producing wool material. The wool used to come from, Melbourne, Australia.
Okay.
Yeah, and the cotton used to come from Egyptos. The best cotton you will find in the Egyptos land. And that's what the factories were producing, linen material and the best wool all over the world. Yeah.
Very good. What were your siblings' names?
Athena, Anastasia, Eleni, Theophilos, Phokion, the son of Socrates, and Polyxeni, Evdoxia, Mary, Dorothea.
All right. What was your religious background?
Christian Orthodox, the only religion we have. We don't have any other Christian religion. Yeah.
Okay.
And in my town, we didn't have the Jewish people, just one family.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's it.
What kind of memories do you have before the war, say in the 1930s?
In 1930s, I was 5 years old. I born in 1925. Everything was fine, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, we had mountains and go back and forth to the mountains. Even the town was in the mountains, you know.
About how large of a town, population-wise, was Noosa?
Oh, about 25,000 people, that's all. Yeah, not more. Small town, even was industrial town, I told you. The wool used to come from Australia and the cotton from Egyptos. You call Egypt.
Right.
Yeah.
How did the war impact your family in particular?
Just terrible. We had big house and 2, Italian soldiers came first. Because we didn't have army barracks in the town. The town was very high in the mountains. And 2 Italian soldiers came. I will never forget them. Yeah. And then the Germans came, and 2 German soldiers came, one with blonde hair, one with dark hair. Yeah. And the one with a blonde hair, the German soldier, used to bring food to my mother because we were crying, laying down from hunger. Oh, I never forget.
Do you remember exactly when the war began and started to impact your family?
In 1940, at the end of 39, first Mussolini started. In 5 months, we win the war against Mussolini, and then it's our army comes down from the mountains after throw out Mussolini. Here comes Adolf Hitler. Oh, terrible, very terrible. They were killing people down in the streets. You can walk over the dead people.
You saw this yourself?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Our streets was cobblestones, the town, because it was up high in the mountains.
Okay.
Oh.
I didn't ask you what your address was. Do you remember your address at that time?
You mean my parents' address? Are you going to believe we didn't have addresses?
Really?
Backwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What part of town did you and your family live in?
In the middle of the town. Naousa, Macedonia, Greece.
Okay.
Yeah.
What other eyewitness memories do you have of the early going in the war?
Well, next to my town was the town of Veria. That's where the Jewish family was from Veria. And when the war finished and I went to visit them, I told my mother, Mom, can I go to Veria to see the Alvo family? No, you're not going to find transportation. And really, no transportation, everybody was jumping in a truck, in the back of the truck, And I jumped too, 20 years old, 1945. And I knocked in many doors, and when I knocked finally in their door, here comes the door-in-law who came with a baby. She was in the town, and she saw me and she says, oh, Nitsa, how you call my middle name in Greek is Nitsa, Elenitsa. She says to me, oh, my in-laws with the children went to your town to say thank you for keeping us 5 years, after the occupation of Mussolini and Hitler. And they stayed a few days and they came back and I was there because a boy came and knocked in their door. And I go in the balcony and I say to the daughter-in-law, who was first in our home, I said, someone is knocking at your door. And she looked from the balcony and she says, oh, he's our cousin. And I say, yeah, Jewish. We were fanatic Christian Orthodox. We didn't have any other religion. The Jewish people used to be most Thessalonica. When Queen Isabella threw them out from Spain, they went to Salonika by little boats. Yeah. Oh.
Well, let's go back earlier in the war. What were the circumstances of your family's offering shelter to this Jewish family? Can you describe the early going in that?
Well, the police brought the two first people, the 15-year-old boy and the sister-in-law, who was 23, 24 years old, with a baby, tiny baby, maybe 4 or 5 months baby, little girl. They told us the baby's name is Mary, was Miriam, the Jewish way. Yeah, Miriam. And they stayed in our home until the war finished, 1945.
Can you describe what your parents said? Or, why did they pick your home?
When someone was coming in our home up the steps to ask my parents what's going on with the Nazis up in the mountains, because from our windows we see the Nazis going up the mountain to look to kill people, or army, if was hiding the army. And the boy the boy from their town came to find out, I told you what, saw them there and says, oh, that's where you are? He knew they are hiding. And they say, don't say nothing, don't say nothing. And my father says to them in the steps, I see my father in my eyes this moment, do you have any other family? And they say, yeah, bring them over. And they brought the 4 more people, and we had 7 people. In our home, we gave them 2 rooms, one on the 2nd floor, one on the 3rd floor. In the 3rd floor was just 1 room, no other floor. And I will never forget, yeah. And when I went to see them, they came to see us. And here comes their cousin, knock at the door, and when I heard he's Jewish, I said, yeah. Well, we were fanatic Christian Orthodox. We didn't have any other Christian religion in my town and in Macedonia. I don't think so. We had some Bulgarians, some Yugoslavians. They came because they were fighting all the time. The Turks in those days destroyed the world, the Turks. The Persians, yeah. So that's it. So here comes a good-looking boy, and we fell in love. And he just died in October 2000.
Okay.
51 years married.
That's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, we went to Salonika and married in a temple, a Jewish temple, on the 2nd floor. And the rabbi says, go on the 2nd floor so nobody can see you. Because here I am, the Christian girl with a Jewish boy. And was a very funny thing in those days for Christians and Jews to be together, you know.
Sure.
But here I am, and here's my children.
Yes.
Yeah.
Blessing indeed. What was it like having this other family live in your house? What memories do you have of that time?
My mother used to take Mrs. Halvo, the older lady of the other family, I told you, at the American Red Cross to get some food. And when they asked her, who is she? My sister from Albania, she says. She didn't say she's a Sephardic Jew from the next town. Yeah. Oh. And I told you, when I went 2 months later, when the war finished, they went to see us and brought us corn, wheat, rice, sugar, many, many things to say thank you to our family for hiding them 5 years, 7 people. We gave them 2 rooms. First 1 room, and then when the other family came, we gave them 2 rooms. Yeah.
And that 7-member family,
yeah.
What were their names? I didn't ask you their names in order.
Mr. Judah was Mr. Alvo, the older Alvo. Mrs. Alvo's name was Thea Dudu, and Didi was her name, her Jewish name. And then the boy's name who came first, the Greek, how you say, the line name was Elias, Greek name. And his sister-in-law, we call her Katina. Her Jewish name was Ida. And the Elias name was Jack, Jewish. Yeah.
That's an amazing commitment for your family to shelter another family for so long. A lot of people are just intermittently helpful. 5
years. Well,
can you explain why your family had that kind of level of commitment?
Well, they got sorry for them, and they let them in our home. I will never forget our big old house, the 2 rooms. One was the in-laws, and up was the daughter-in-law with her baby. Now she was 5 years old, the little baby, from 1940 to 45. Yeah. And when I went to Veria to see them, and they came to Nassau to say thank you to us after the war, the baby was 5 years old now. Yeah. And her name was Marika. the Greek way. Yeah,
Okay.
Miriam.
Now, during the war, were you still going to school, or was school
No,
called off?
the Germans took all our schools. We didn't have no schools to go.
What did you do day to
Nothing,
day?
nothing. I remember we had a religious building to teach us religion. And we used to go there, but no religion. They didn't teach us. They used a school because the real school the Germans had for their army.
Okay.
Oh my, I never forget. I see my school in my eyes, and the church here, and the school of catechism here, and there is our school, the fourth, how you call, the fourth high school. We had 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you frightened this whole time? And what was it like to live under a
Sure.
wartime
Sure.
experience?
You was we were afraid because the Germans walk with the guns everywhere. Oh, that was very terrible time.
What kind of personal encounters did you have with
With the Germans?
German or Italians?
Nothing.
Good.
Nothing. No. No.
What was your father doing at this time?
He was working in the factory as, how you call it, watching at the door not to come somebody in the factory. We were 4,000 people in the factory. We producing wool material. The wool used to come from Australia, I told you, and we used to make linen material with cotton from Egypt.
Okay.
Yeah.
So his employment stayed the same. Was that controlled?
Yeah, the factories was working right, but belonged to the Germans.
Right.
They didn't give us money, they gave us food. Yeah, they give us corn 5 pounds, rice 5 pounds, sugar. That's what they pay us. No money, never the Germans gave us.
How much hardship was this for your family?
Very, very hardship, yeah. But when the Germans lost the war, the one boy, the German soldier, who brought food secretly to my mother to feed us because we were crying. My mother and father went to Salonika, the capital of Macedonia, because that's where the Mediterranean Ocean goes, to find out what happened to the German army. And they say, we threw them upside down, England. England helped us and threw the Germans upside down in the Mediterranean Ocean. Perfect. Perfect, that's what they're supposed to do, England. They help us tremendously. Yep.
Yes. What other memories do you have of the wartime
Oh,
years?
how I met my husband.
Well, that was after the war, wasn't it?
Yeah, after.
Okay.
Yes, 1945.
Since this is such an important chapter in world history, let's go back to the wartime years.
Yeah, oh
How did
my.
you celebrate holidays?
We didn't have any holidays.
No?
No celebration. No.
So you didn't celebrate birthdays?
In those days, we never celebrate. We celebrate our name day. We believe in our religion. My name is Eleni. I was the mother of the King Constantinos the Great from thousands of years. So on May 21st is St. Helen's Day.
Okay.
That's when I used to celebrate. We never celebrate our birthdays, our name days.
Okay. So how does one then, do you do like a birthday? Do you have cake and do you sing?
No.
What do you do
No.
on a name day?
No, in our name day we have some pastries. My mother used to make, and I used to make here in America when I came. They remember, look the fat boy. He ate many pastries and baklava and everything I used to make. I used to make my own phyllo.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. because I learned from my mother. My mother was an outstanding housekeeper.
Okay. I was going to ask a little bit more about your parents. Were they strict disciplinarians?
Yeah, they were good parents.
Okay.
We didn't turn out to be bad children. Yeah. Yeah, I told you, I'm the third child, the third girl. And then 2 boys and then 4 more girls. They didn't, in those days didn't exist what exists today, to be careful not to make babies.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes. Okay.
So everybody in the neighborhood had dozens of children. But I never forget our home had the windows and look up high the mountains. Oh, beautiful. The Vermilion Mountains, very beautiful.
And
Yeah.
the Jewish family in hiding, what did they do all day? When
They didn't go to work. No, they stay and the people feed them.
Okay.
Yeah, and some of them die too.
During the
From
wartime
hunger,
years?
from
Really?
hunger, yeah.
Who
I
died?
will never forget the streets we had with a big cobblestones. And if you walk, you go one time here and that's the way. Oh, I never forget. And going up in the mountains was something.
And when you went to the mountains, what did you play there? What did you do?
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Was churches. And we, the Orthodox people, are nuts and go to the church. I use Nikolaos on this side of the mountain. I use Theologos on this side of the mountain. And we used to go and have Sunday lunch there. My mother will prepare, and every mother, and we go up in the mountains to eat and go into the church. We were very fanatic Christian Orthodox.
Okay. So when you say you were fanatical, how else did you practice your faith?
Well, we had icons in our homes. Our King Constantinos, his mother Eleni, we didn't have yet Orthodox churches, and we used to go to the Catholic churches. And Constantinos' mother says, I don't like to go to the Catholic churches anymore and see the statues. I want icons. And we ran away from the Catholicism and turned into Orthodox by ourselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you talk to the family in hiding during the day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We talked to them, and my mother treats them so nice. And we gave them 2 rooms, I told you. First 1 room, and then when the older people came with the 2 younger children. So the whole family left their town, left their house, and came to us.
And what kinds of things did they tell you about their lives?
Nothing. We didn't ask anything.
Really?
We didn't ask. My mother and father never asked anything. No. Because we found out they were Jewish. You know, you remember?
Yes.
When the boy saw them and says, oh, that's where you are? And they say, don't say nothing, don't say nothing. Because they were hiding from us. And my father says, do you have any other family? Bring them over. Here comes the rest of the family. And we gave them 2 bedrooms.
That's profoundly generous. What about your parents made them so generous?
Well, maybe they were good people.
Yes.
Especially my father. Oh, my father was 12 years old when he went to the Greek army. Yeah. The other war with the Muslims. Yeah, the Muslims fight with Greece all the time. Yeah.
Okay.
Turkey and Persia. They were fighting with Greece. They won at Athens, They wanted the archaeologists, they wanted the architectons, you know. So I never forget, yeah.
What other memories do you have about the family in hiding? Because that's one of the main things we came to talk to you
To
about.
have the Germans, we were scared to death to sleep. And even my parents never slept because they were afraid they will rape us, the three teenage girls. Not such a thing. No, 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 no. They brought food to my mother to feed us because they saw us crying and crying and crying from hunger.
Who brought the food?
Yeah, one of the German soldiers with the blonde hair. He was bringing food to my mother to cook, you know. Corn, wheat, rice, sugar, and some, for the first time, we ate meat from the cans. We never had can. How you call those meats in the cans, in little cans?
Right.
Yeah, the Germans brought us. And my mother made different Greek cooking with the cans of meat. Do you know the Greeks make the rolls in the cabbage?
Right.
With that meat, my mother made the rolls with cabbage. My mother was an outstanding housekeeper. And my father was nice man as can be. No running around, no drinking, no drunk, no those things. Never, never.
Do you remember the name of the German soldier who came with extra food?
I don't remember now. I don't remember. Yeah, his hair was blonde and had waves, you know. The other with a dark hair didn't pay attention to us, didn't care for us, but the blonde boy, was very nice.
I wonder what made him different.
Maybe he born to be this way. We all born bad or good. That's it. Yep. So that's all.
What other kind of memories do you have of those war years, about how your family coped?
Oh, terrible, terrible, terrible. To see the German army going up to the mountains to fight with the Greek army, with England. England even came in and helped us. Yeah.
And how else
We see them from our windows up in the mountains, going up, 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 up. Yeah. Yeah, my town is in the mountains, Nausa,
Right.
and Neo USA. Yeah.
What else did your family do to cope with the hardships?
Oh, what? We stay hungry so much. We cry and cry and cry with the children, you know. And what can my mother give us? What can my father, the Germans didn't pay. My father, who was the watcher of the factory for many years, they were 8 men. 2 this time, 6 hours later, 2 others, 6 hours later, yeah, 24 hours, 6 hours each, 4 watchers.
How often did the Germans come to your home? Were they there to conduct?
No. After they left, the 2 soldiers with the blonde and England turned them upside down. When my father went to Salonika to find out, that's it. We knew England is helping us. My mother was crying because the blonde-haired soldier brought us food and we leave. You know, we didn't die, 9 children. So, but that's it. The war was a terrible thing, very terrible. The Nazis, I'm glad they didn't rape us. You know, the 3 teenage girls. No. Yeah, I told you my mother, if I didn't sleep, worrying if they, no such a thing. No. Yeah. So that's it. So I found the Jewish boy, and here's my children.
Yes.
Reuben, Benrubi.
Yes.
When Reuben came with his cousin who lived in our home 5 years, his name, I told you, the Greek name was Elias. Jack was the Jewish name. And their cousin came. I was visiting them, and they visited us in Nausa. And the daughter-in-law was there. And here, I told you, someone knocked on the door, and I see a good-looking boy down at the door. And I says, Ida, somebody is at the door. And she says, oh, he's our cousin. I say, oh, yeah, the Jews, you know. Because the only religion we had was the Greek Orthodox religion. We didn't know nothing else. And we were fanatic Christians.
Did your conception of Jews or others change as a result of the war?
I don't think so too many people changed their religion to marry Jewish people. I don't think so. But in the meantime, the Germans killed so many, we didn't have too many Jewish people anymore. So many. My husband lost all his family before I met him.
Okay.
Yeah, he lost everybody. Yeah, a brother, Abraham, survived, and a sister, Esther. Abraham went to Israel in 1945 after the war. In 1950, he died in Israel. And Esther married the nicest boy across the street from my husband's house, and she died we came here in 1951, in 1953 she died. And I named my youngest daughter, Esther. And Rina is my husband's mother, and Asher is my husband's father. My 3 children took his families.
A few moments before we started the video, you were telling me about an episode in a cave.
Oh yeah, my mother took us. The night Benito Mussolini started the war. Yeah. And when they lost the war in 5 months, here comes Hitler. Our army was coming down from the mountains, and here is the Nazis.
Can you describe that night when you fled your home and went to the...
To the caves, I remember.
Yes.
I remember. It was Friday night. Yeah, 12 o'clock at night. The police knocking everybody's door. Go and hide because the Mussolini started the war. Oh. And then in 5 months we win the war against Mussolini, and here comes Hitler. As our army comes down, here is Hitler's army. And that's it.
So when you went to the cave, how much in the way of provisions did you have, or did you just...
No, we walk free in the caves.
Okay.
I see my mother in front of us walking. Yeah, I never forget. I just see her, this moment, 1940, in my eyes, in the cave. And we, the children, follow her. Yeah.
What was it like in the cave?
Terrible. Terrible. All wet, the cave, because it's in the mountain, hole in the mountain. And you can go far away. My town is all in the mountain. Yeah. And Alexander the Great is in the valley. Yeah, when I told you, when I was in the first grade, the teacher took us and I wanted to see him.
Yes.
So, 1932, 7 years old.
Yes. So how long were you in the cave?
Oh, one night in the morning we came back to our town because Mussolini came up in the mountains. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Mussolini started war first. In 5 months, I told you, we win the war against Mussolini. And as our army comes down, here comes Hitler. Oh.
How did your family get news? Did they have a radio in the house?
We didn't have no radio. Nobody had radio yet.
No?
My father was a newspaperman. All his life, he was with a newspaper. 6 o'clock in the morning, he will go and buy. Papers didn't bring to us in those days. You go to the store and buy your newspaper. And my father, 6 o'clock in the morning, is in the store because he used to love to find news about the world. Oh, he was something. The most quiet man you ever saw, but the most he wanted to know what's going on in the world. Ah, very nice man. I just see him in my eyes. Oh.
Okay, I'm on again. Good. Are there any other memories of the war years that you'd like to share with us?
Well, it was terrible time, very terrible. But I told you, one of the soldiers used to bring us food, and when the war finished, my mother and father went to Salonika, that's where it's the Mediterranean Ocean, to find out where is the Germans. And they say, England, turned them upside down, and we were happy, because they were our enemies. And England turned them upside down in the Mediterranean Ocean. And no German soldiers went back to Germany. No. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's it.
So you met your husband.
Yeah.
How long
I went to visit the family whom we hiding 5 years. One Sunday, I jumped in a truck. No buses, no cars, no nothing. After the war, 2 months after the war. And I went in and knocked in many doors. Finally, I found the Alvo door, the family whom we hide. And here comes the daughter-in-law and sees me and she says, "Oh, Nitsa, my in-laws went to say thank you to your family." And brought us the best things, because they were well-to-do family when they were hiding in our home. But what can they do? They didn't have nothing with them. Yeah. Oh, I just see them, all the family. Mr. Judas, Thea, we used to call the lady, Mrs. Salvo, Thea means end. Dudu. Yeah, Thea Dudu. Oh. We treat them real nice. My
Yes.
parents were nice people. Yeah.
But 5 years is such a long time to
But
have
what-
strangers in the house.
Well, we had 6 rooms, 6 bedrooms. 2 we gave to them. One here on the 2nd floor, the other on the 3rd floor, and they were by themselves. Of course, during the day, my mother will take Mrs. Salvo and go to the American Red Cross and ask for a little bit food, you know, and the American Red Cross help us. Yeah.
Did you accompany her for those food runs?
What?
Did you go with your mother and
No. No, my mother was alone with my father.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you talk to the Jewish family during the day? I mean, did you?
Yeah, we talk.
Okay.
We talk. They were speaking broken Greek, the older couple. But the children was talking perfect Greek because they were going to Greek schools. Yeah.
Okay.
I just see them in my eyes the way they were young, those 2 children. And now they are in Salonika in business.
And how old were the children?
Very,
in the family
very
at
young.
the time?
10, 12 years old, the younger children. And the boy was 15 and the daughter-in-law was 23, 24 years old with a tiny baby. 3, 4 months baby, something like this.
Okay.
Yeah, I just see her this moment in my eyes, the way they came. Yeah.
Michael, so part of the story that might be interesting is her parents were involved kind of with the underground, and their house was near the mountains, and they used to get messages to the underground, and that's part of
Yeah.
the master.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, if you can tell us whatever you know about your parents.
My mother was very much against. Of course, my father was for many years somebody in the country, you know, watching the factories, watching people not to steal from the factories, and that's it.
Well,
What?
but they were connected with the resistance.
What is resistance?
Do I have that correctly?
Yeah.
Okay. What about the underground? Your father was associated with the underground?
The guerrillas.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Tell us about
The
that.
secret Greek army.
Okay.
We had our own army, not just the country army. We had, and they were against the Nazis so much, you can imagine. They were against the Nazis.
Tell
Yeah.
us a little bit more about the secret army, because that's an important part
Well,
of the story.
Nothing I can say. What can I say? Was secret army
Okay. So you didn't
and
know,
fighting against the Nazis.
and your father was associated with
Yeah,
this group?
they knew them. Yeah.
Okay. What
They
kinds
knew-
of things did your father do?
He was in the factory, at the door of the factory. I told you, we were 4,000 people in the factory
Right.
producing wool material. And I told you the wool used to come from Australia, far away. Yeah. And the cotton from Egypt, not too far away. Yeah. The best country to produce cotton is Egypt. Yeah.
Did you work in the factory too?
Yeah.
Okay.
I went, not to, my other two sisters went 12 years old. I went 15 because how you say, the order of the government says nobody will go to the factory 12 years old. Will go 15. So I went 15. And I became somebody in the factory because I was very smart and well educated from the public school. Yeah.
What kind of work did you do?
I was watching. I was in the office.
Oh, so.
Yeah, I
Like-
was
like your
in the
father.
office.
Okay.
Yeah, not in the factory to work and make material
Okay.
like my two older sisters. No, I was somebody. Yeah, I will never forget. And I never forget the principal of our school, Mr. Lapopoulos, came one day and knocking our door and says to my father, Eleni, my name, you know, Eleni is the best student in the city of Nausa. Even Mr. Lapopoulos took me to the 5 schools to, how you say, to compete, and then took me to the high school, and I win. And then took me to the 6th grade boy, and I win. And my father and our principal got crazy. Yeah.
When you say you won, what kind of a competition was it?
Was history, geography, and Greek spelling. Nobody can reach me in my Greek spelling. My memory was real good to remember. And geography, for all over our countries, and especially in our schools, they teach us about Persia, fighting with Greece all the time. And I knew everything. I knew everything. Yeah? So that's it.
What other are there any other eyewitness memories that you have of the Nazis or the
Oh.
Italians?
I just see the two Nazis in our home, and the Italians first came. I told you, 2 Italian soldiers came. But the Italians didn't show too much off because they knew they are losing. Yeah, in 5 months they lost.
Okay.
Benito Mussolini lost in 5 months.
A few moments ago, you described seeing dead bodies in the street.
Yeah, in
What
the,
were the
in the
circumstances?
cobblestone streets.
Can you narrate for us that episode?
Well,
What happened?
maybe that secret army we had was killing people. Why not?
But there was a battle in your part
No.
of the town?
No,
No.
no, 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 secretly.
Okay.
Secretly.
I'm having a little hard time understanding what happened. Or were you aware of what happened, or did you just see the
Well,
aftermath?
we had a secret army who was with the Nazis. So now the Nazis finished, now we finish them.
What do you mean by that, Mom? Were they the enemies of the Nazis?
Yeah.
So do you remember seeing any, like, the Nazis being bad to people out on the streets? What do you remember?
The Nazis,
Yeah, being bad to...
we were scared to death from the Nazis.
But did you see things happen? Were
Yeah,
they?
yeah.
What kinds of things did you see?
But, we, being teenage girls, didn't go out very much. We were scared from the Nazis, but they never bothered us. Never. Not the Italian soldiers, not the Nazis. I don't know if bother other people, but didn't bother us.
Okay.
No.
But did you see them doing anything bad to others?
Oh, killing.
You saw this?
We can see from our windows up in the mountain. And they were killing with big guns. And down you go. Yeah? So, was something. But thanks to America, opened for us and we came.
Yes. Do you remember the last day of the war, when the war was over?
Well, almost. The Nazis, the streets was full of Nazis killed. Yeah, with our secret army and other people killed them too. Many streets were full of killed Nazis. Yeah.
Was this the Andartes? Is this the secret army, the Andartes?
Ah, bravo.
So tell us.
Yeah, our secret army we call Andartes. Andartes, Greek word. Yeah.
And it's a Greek word, and your father was associated with this group?
Not to fight.
Oh, okay.
No. No, because he was working in the factory.
Pop was an Andarte, wasn't he, Mom?
What?
Wasn't Pop an Andarte?
Yeah, because he was Jewish and he lost all his family.
Well, you need to tell Michael that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my husband was all alone. He lost all his family. Just one little brother lived and went to Israel and died. And one sister married the next across the street boy, and she died in 53. We came here in 51. And was terrible time. Very, very terrible time. Oh, and to be in those days teenager is something. You are growing up and you see everything wrong. Terrible thing.
And
Very
what were you
terrible.
thinking at this time? Because, not many people have to grow up in circumstances like that. What were you thinking about
Well, terrible
yourself
things
and the
happen.
world?
But don't forget, all the years in our school teach us about the Muslims. They were our enemies hundreds of years ago, the Muslims.
Well, a couple things you might ask her about. First, after World War II, there was a civil war in Greece, and maybe she knows some things about that, and also things that happened to her husband's family, how they all perished.
Yes.
Well, my husband lost all his family. One brother went to Israel. I remember I met my husband in 1945. I went to visit the Alvo family, and the Alvos came to my town. And as I was sitting with a daughter-in-law in the Alvo family in the area, someone knocked on the door, and I say, good-looking boy. And I say, someone is knocking.
Ask her about how her husband's family, how they captured all the men at the temple
There's a,
She needs to be reminded of the topic.
You know, they
Why don't you tell the story and then she'll...
Well, I don't know the story, except that I thought Papu said that on the Sabbath, all the men were at the temple, at the synagogue, and the Nazis captured them there. Is that, do you remember that?
Yeah, in the little town, Veria, where
Yeah,
Papa was
tell
from.
me about that
Yeah,
story.
yeah,
Tell that
yeah,
story, Mama.
yeah. Well, what can I say?
Well, they were all in the temple.
Yeah, a little temple in our neighborhood where I married my husband and lived with the Jewish families, me the Christian Orthodox girl, and they were at the temple. Yeah,
how long did you know your husband before he became your husband?
I met him in 1945 through the family whom we kept during the war.
Right?
And we married in 1949, February 13. Yeah.
Okay.
He used to come with his cousin who was in our home, the boy, the 15-year-old boy. He used to come with him every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, until the boy told him, we live with his family having us 5 years now, I'm going to take you there, go by yourself. But my husband was the same to come, but we were in love and that's it.
So what did young people in love do on dates in the mid to late 1940s?
Well, in those days, you don't go nowhere,
No?
because if people see you, you're supposed to be ashamed. The women, you know, the men are happy to have you, the woman, you know. But I will never forget when I fell in love with my husband, and he used to come until his cousin told him, I'm not coming anymore to that town because we stay 5 years there. Now I'm going to take you there. And he told my parents he's in love with me. We got engaged and married in a temple in Salonika. Yeah, just him and me. The rabbi says, go up on the second floor, nobody to see you, because we told them we are marrying secret. I'm Christian, he's Jew. And we went to the second floor and got married. I just see myself this moment with my husband on the second floor. I never forget. Yeah.
Hey, Mama, there's an important question that Michael can ask that would be good to this story. That is, how did Pop's family die? Can you tell that?
Well, most, they die in the war, and one sister and one brother survived, Avram and Esther. Avram went to Israel and died. He went in 45, in 50 he died in Israel. And Esther married across the street the best gentleman. And we came to America in 51, in 53 she died.
But what about the other brothers and
Yeah,
sisters?
how about the other brothers and sisters? How did the Nazis kill them? What happened?
They killed them.
How?
I didn't see them because when I found Papu was just Papu, Avram, and Esther.
What
Do you
did Papa
remember-
tell you?
Didn't he tell you stories, Pop? Didn't he say what happened to him? They went up in the mountains and
What happened, what?
Pop's father. You remember what happened to him? Didn't they take everybody from the temple? And that's how the whole thing started?
I don't remember now.
It's okay.
That's all right. What was it about your husband that made you fall in love with him?
Just we fell in love with him. He was very good looking.
Yeah.
And I was good girl, no crazy. That's the way my mother raised us, to be good girls, you know, not to run tonight with you, tomorrow with you. No, no such a thing.
What was life in Greece like after the war?
Oh, was terrible.
Still?
Was terrible.
Even though the war was over, life was terrible?
The Germans, they left nothing to us. They took everything. All the years, they were eating our food. And they got our factories. And they made the money from the factories and they gave us some food for payment. No money, by the hour or by the week, nothing. I will never forget, yeah. I was somebody in the factory, I told you, 15 years old. And the Nazis were terrible.
How long did you work in the factory?
Well, I met my husband 20 years old. Yeah, I quit the factory. Yeah, but I was somebody in the factory, not in the machines. I was in the office, and what the people supposed to do, I supposed to give orders. Because I was very smart in school, very smart.
Did your father continue working in the factory
Yeah.
after the end of
Yeah,
the war?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Until he retired, he was working. The age, you know, when his age came, he quit. But he didn't quit because of the Nazis. Oh, I will never forget the Nazi business.
Did your parents know what would happen to them if they were found out that they were hiding the Jewish family?
We found out a boy came from their town to find out from my mother and father what's going on with the Nazis up in the mountains, because from our windows we can see the Nazis going. And my father, a boy, I told you, came to find out from us and saw them and says, "Oh, that's where you are?" And they say, "Don't say nothing, don't say nothing." And my father says, "Do you have any other family? Bring them over." And they brought the other family. And we had 7 people and we gave them 2 rooms. I will never forget.
But that was at some risk to your family.
Exactly.
Did your parents
Exactly.
talk about that?
The Nazis took my brother and hanged him, 2 years younger than me. Hanged him, and we all cried, and they unhanged him. His name was Theophilus, friend of God. Theos, Philos, 2 years younger than me.
Can you tell us about when that happened and the circumstances?
During the war.
Yeah.
During the war.
Okay.
And we saw them hang up, and we told them the Greek, how you say, police, and they unhanged him. I just see him in my eyes, 2 years younger, blonde curly hair. My brother, 2 years younger.
So what happened? Did the Nazi soldiers raid your house and take your brother, or what
No,
happened?
they didn't take my brother.
No.
No, we took him. We took our brother.
Why did the Nazis hang Theophilus? Yati.
Because he was up and down the mountains, working for the secret Greek army.
So they
Secretly.
captured him?
Secretly, I will never forget. We saw him hanging. We went and saw him hanging. I just see him in my eyes hanging from a tree. Yeah, from a branch of tree, and he was hanged.
How about
Oh.
Pop's sister Daisy? Didn't they shoot her in the back?
Papu's?
Papa's sister Daisy.
Yeah, yeah.
What happened to her?
She got killed.
How?
The Nazis killed her
By what? They kill her with a knife, with a gun, what?
with the guns. The Nazis, they use knives, they use the guns. Yeah. Oh.
Michael here is doing film, like writing a book, only on film, about stories about how the Nazis were bad to the Greeks and how the Nazis were bad to the Jews and how the Nazis
Yeah.
were bad to your family.
Yeah.
What stories do you have how bad the Nazis were?
For our family, they didn't do anything. I told you one of the Nazis was bringing food because they saw us
Yeah.
crying
You
from
were-
hunger.
You were one of the lucky families, right? All right, so what happened to some of the other families in the town?
Well, some was lucky like us and some was in terrible shape.
Yeah.
Terrible,
Like
terrible.
what kind of terrible shit?
You should see the dead people in the streets. killed by the Nazis. Boom! If you look to the Nazi soldier, he takes the gun and kills you. And you are laying down on the cobblestones. Ah, I remember how many dead people I saw in the cobblestones in my town. Ah,
And what did they do with the bodies?
we take them and bury them, the relatives, you know.
Were there people killed
Yeah,
that you
when
knew?
I will never forget when they hang my brother Theophilus, 2 years younger than me, and we went and found him and took them out of the. I just see him this moment, the way the Nazis did.
So he didn't die at that time?
No, 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 no.
That in itself is amazing. That
Yeah.
they hanged him, but he didn't.
Exactly.
He was not executed.
We unhang him. We,
Where
the
were
family.
Where
the
were the
family.
Nazi soldiers at that time? Wouldn't it would seem to me that they would have stayed to see the.
Well, maybe it
finish.
was someplace in the other town. Yeah. No, I never forget my brother Theophilus.
How about your next door neighbors? What did the Nazis do with your next door neighbors? Did they do anything with anybody? The mayor of the town? Did they-
Everybody, with everybody, the Nazis fight. Everybody. Yeah. Oh. Terrible, terrible, terrible,
So
terrible
they
thing.
made the children no longer go to school and that kind of ruined
They
it?
took our schools. We didn't go to school. 5 years we didn't go to school. They took and made into army barracks, you call? Yeah. Yeah. Our town, because it was in the mountain, didn't have army barracks. And the Nazis came and made their army houses. Yeah. Now our schools. I will never forget 5 years without schools.
How about the meanness of what war is? How would you best describe how mean and
Terrible.
bad war is?
Terrible thing is the war. To see people killing people is something very bad.
Did you have personal friends and neighbors who were shot and killed?
Got killed, sure. Many in our neighborhood got killed. Many. And everybody was surprised how come nobody from my family. But my father was something good and kept us well. I told you they hang up my brother. Oh, I just see him this moment hanging from the tree.
So, out of the people in your community who were killed, were there close friends of yours? Who did you lose
Oh,
possibly? that
many,
was a
many
close-
neighbors. Many neighbors. Some, the whole family.
Who was the closest? Since this is a memory project, if you remember their names, we'll take their names.
I don't remember their names.
Okay.
No. Because I married my husband after the war, and I forgot about my town, you know, and then we came to America.
Where did you live after you got married before you came to America?
In my husband's town, Veria.
Okay.
Apostolos Paul went to Veria because they have a church, Saint Anthony. And Apostolos Paul came to Veria to see the church of Saint Anthony.
Talking about back in the Bible.
Ayos
the Apostle
Antonios.
Paul. Yeah,
Ayos Antonios.
right on.
Yeah.
But now Veria, and that area was a place where a lot of Jewish population was.
Yes.
How did the Nazis kind of like ruin that for all the Jewish?
They had temple near Papa's house. And the Nazis destroy everything, throw the temple down. Yeah. Yeah. I just see Papa's house because we married and moved to his house in 1949. And in 1951 we came to America.
And you were living, well, he was Jewish, you were Christian.
Yeah.
Were you living like 50-50?
Yeah, but
or-
we married Jewish.
Okay.
Yeah, in the temple in Salonika.
Okay.
Yeah, we married Jewish. Yeah.
And what was the community like when you lived there? This is 5 years after the war. 4 or 5 years after the war. What
How was in wasn't 5 years. 1945, we married 49, 51 we came to America.
Can you describe the town where you were living right after you
Veria
got married?
were so many people killed because were Jewish. My town didn't have many Jews, one family. They came from Salonika. Yeah. And my father told them, the old man with a donkey who was selling material, my mother used to buy material, and my father says to him one day, don't you have any more family? And they say, yeah, they are in Salonika. Bring them over, I will find them work. And my father found the son-in-law the best work in the office of the factories of the 4,000 people. My father found work for him.
So now, if your father took in these Jews and was hiding them from the Nazis,
Yeah.
how afraid were you that the Nazis were going to find out and kill you guys and your dad?
No, the Nazis never wanted to kill us
Yeah,
because
but wait. At some point in time, maybe later on the Nazis were nicer to you than to other people, but somewhere your mom and dad had to say, I'm afraid, but I'm going to take a chance and hide these people to save their lives. And you know what a risk is? ¿Sabes tú it is?
hide whom?
The Alvos.
Oh, well, the Nazis left and then we had the Albos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we
The
try to deal with
Nazis
it
went to
quick.
Salonika and they went to
Yeah.
Mediterranean Ocean.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the English took care of them. But
Yeah.
at some point in time, when your dad told you we're going to take a family and put them in the upstairs third floor, and we're going
Yeah.
to take another family, put them on the second floor, wasn't there fear? Wasn't there, were you not afraid of the Germans and what the Germans would do if they found out you were hiding the Jews? What would the Germans have done if they found out
When
were
you are in the war,
Start again. What'd you say?
you think different when you are in the war. You are doing what the war tells you to do. Exactly.
And so what did the war tell you to do?
To save the people or to kill the people. That's it.
And you decided to save them,
Yeah.
even though the Germans might have killed you.
I don't know. We kept them 5 years, 7 people. 7 people. I will never forget. Yeah.
But did not your dad, my papu, did he not be afraid of if the Germans
No.
caught him,
He
he's
was-
going to be killed?
He was so quiet, man, you can imagine. And my mother was a good housekeeper, and sometimes she was cooking, the German soldiers smell, and they went to the kitchen and took food by themselves. Not kitchen like this, out in the yard. Oh my, what we went through.
With the Germans, did you see the Germans being mean to people?
Yeah, far away, not in our home. Not in our home, no.
So yeah, you were lucky they didn't. So now, okay. Well, Michael, let me know if you want me to stop. Now, I'm just rolling.
well.
You're on a
I'm
roll,
just
man.
rolling.
Go.
All right. So now, the war is over.
Yeah.
What did you do with the Jewish families? Do you tell them the war is over, you can leave? What happened then?
Most of them got killed. Most of them. The Alvo family lived because we hid them.
Right.
We hid them as much as can be. My mother, we gave them two rooms.
So the war now ends.
Yeah,
Bravo.
yeah.
The good guys win. How did you tell the Alvo family that the war is over, you can go live where you want?
They went and left. Yeah,
How
we
did
say,
you tell them? How did your dad, how did your mama tell them that the war is over?
they knew themselves.
Did you have a final celebration, or did they just disperse?
I don't think so, celebration. We didn't have nothing to eat. How can celebrate? We didn't have nothing to eat. I will never forget my mother keeping some food from the German soldiers to feed us. She was stealing from them. Yeah. They had leftovers, and my mother will steal them and feed us, the little children.
I imagine it was a very emotional party.
Exactly, exactly. Very terrible time. I will never forget. I'm 83 now, and still the war is in my brains.
You remember the bombs going off around in?
Yeah, exactly.
What did that sound like?
You should have seen the cobblestones full of dirt of the Germans. How you call those? They come from the gun out and kill you. How you call those?
Bullets.
Bullets, yeah. You should see the streets full of bullets. Yeah. And I told you, the streets in those days was cobblestones. Between the cobblestones here was bullets. Oh,
After the Germans left the people dead in the streets, what did you guys do? Go out and take them?
and bury them in the cemetery. Bury them in the cemetery. Oh, you bury your relatives, other people bury their relatives. Yeah. I didn't take strangers to bury. The relatives bury them. Yeah.
And sometimes the Germans got killed. What did they do with the dead bodies there?
Let them, how you say, be
Rot.
trash. Yeah. Yeah, melt away. Ah. Terrible, terrible, terrible. And I remember many Germans dead, killed. We threw up in the mountains and they melt away. And you can go and find bones still. Woo! The Nazis was Nazis.
And what did you guys think of Hitler? What kind of thoughts did you have about Hitler himself?
Terrible. I read this story about Hitler and I just got so surprised. Hitler's grandmother was Jewish and his mother was Jewish and she was in love with a Jewish boy. And when she got pregnant on Hitler, she says, I'm pregnant, let's get married. And they say no. And here comes Hitler, born without father. And that's it, and kill all the Jews because the boyfriend was, his mother's boyfriend was Jewish. And Hitler was with Jewish blood in his veins.
Were you aware at the time about the
No,
death camps?
now I read, not now, years ago.
Okay.
I read that Hitler's grandmother was Eva Braun, no.
That was his girlfriend.
Yeah, Eva
And-
Braun was his girlfriend, but his Nana, we call Nana the grandmother, was Jewish, and his mother was Jewish and got pregnant on Hitler. And Hitler born without father. That's why he killed the Jews.
Were you aware that?
I read them. I read here in America.
Okay.
I read here in America.
But at the time, how much news about the war, about
Oh,
death camps?
Very much, very much.
Okay.
Our newspaper was the name Macedonia. My state is Macedonia, and the newspaper was Macedonia. We call it Greek Macedonia. And many news, the newspaper, many news about Hitler, about Mussolini, about...
Did you know that there were the camps where they took the Jews and put them in the ovens and killed them? Did you know about that back then?
Yeah.
I gotta tell us a story. What do you? how did
So,
you-
well,
how did you know?
what can I tell you? They killed them inside the country. But most, they took them to Germany.
Auschwitz
Yeah, yes, exactly.
on the trains.
Oh, was terrible thing.
Didn't Papu's brothers and sisters go on the trains?
Yeah. Just Papa's one sister live and one brother, and they disappeared. The brother Avram went to Israel in 1945. I never remember. I just see the boy, curly blonde hair, and went to Israel. 45, 50 died in Israel because he suffered during the war. Finally, he died. And the sister who got married to the nicest boy across the street from my husband's house, she died too. When we came to America in 1951, she died in 53.
Did you see the Germans take prisoners
Yep.
and put them on the trains?
Exactly,
What did you see?
exactly. Because the train station, we can see from up the mountain down to the Nausea train station.
Antifa.
Alexander the Great's town is still next to the train station.
And what did you see with your eyes?
We see terrible things.
You see,
Dead people, killed people.
you see people going on the trains. Did you know they were going to their death?
I don't think so. I knew what's going to happen to them until we find out from the newspaper. The newspaper will write, the Nazis did this, the Nazis did this. I will never forget. But I never forget the 2 soldiers we had in our home. My parents didn't sleep at all because we were 3 teenagers, but they were nice to us. And I told you, the soldiers with the blonde hair used to bring my mother from the German kitchen food to feed us. Yeah. Oh. For the first time we ate, I told you, meat from the cans. The Germans brought us.
Did that taste good? What did canned meat
Well,
taste like?
if you are so hungry, we were, tastes good. If you give me now, you can have it.
Were there any other instances where food was secreted to you? What
No,
kind of instances?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so, no.
These German soldiers that were in your house, they had no idea that you had a Jewish family in there, right? Or did they know that they were there?
The Germans left and then the Jews came.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the Germans left in 5 months, something like this, and then the Jewish family came. First came the young couple, the 15-year-old boy and his sister-in-law, 23, 24 years old, with the baby, 3, 4 months, the baby. Yeah. And now the baby must be 65, 68 years old.
It just amazes me how you can hide somebody for 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah. I will.
That's a level of commitment that most people don't have.
Sure, sure. In 1932, I was 7 years old. I told you about the town of Alexander the Great. The teacher took us there, and I thought I will see him. 7 years old. And we didn't see him, and we ate some food there in his house. But we didn't see him, and I still wanted to go and see him. I didn't know he's gone 3,000-4,000 years ago.
Right.
That's how smart I was, dummy. Yeah,
Let's go to the time where you're newly married.
yeah,
You're
yeah. Oh, the son, yeah. We married in February 13, 1949, in a temple in Salonika. The rabbi, we told the rabbi, I'm Christian and he is Jewish. And the rabbi married us and told us, go on the second floor so nobody to see you if you don't want somebody to find out that you, Christian, married the Jewish boy. So we married and we came back to my husband's town, and then he born there in my husband's town.
yeah.
Yeah. And then we came to America in 1951. Yeah.
What kind of work did your husband do?
He had plumbing company from his father. He had store in Varia. Yeah. And we came here and he went to work. What he was working, Asher?
Plumber.
Yeah, for a company. And then in 1960, the plumbing company closed because the man got sick, the owner of the plumbing company. And he wanted to go to work for someone else. And I said, hey, dummy, let's start ourselves. And we made it.
Yeah.
Yep. I called the Yellow Pages, and they wrote our name, and they called, and I didn't go to the house answering the phone. His phone, you know, from the plumbing company. And
How about when you got married? You're a Christian girl, he's a Jewish boy.
Yeah.
How did it look in society? A Jew is supposed to marry a Jew, a Christian is supposed to marry a Christian.
that was time after the war. Nobody look if you are Christian and you're Jew. Was everything upside down yet.
So were you observant as a Jew in your marriage?
I never was very religious, and today I'm not very religious woman. I'm good woman, but the religion don't bother me. If you are a Jew, you are a Jew. If you are Christian, you are Christian, so what? Everybody, we do what our brain says. That's it. No.
What was it like living as a married couple in the early years before you came
Very
to
good.
America?
Very good.
Did you work outside the home yourself?
No.
No?
Where? No, my husband was working
Okay.
for a plumbing company, you know. He had store from his father.
And when were your children born?
He born, when did I marry? 1949. You born at the end of 49. He born in December 7, 1949. We married in February 23 or 13. Yeah, 9 months later, here's the boy. And then we came to America, 1951, 1952, Rena born. In 1955, Esther born, who lives in Denver. Yeah, 3 children.
Ask him how they got to the United States.
Could you tell us about coming to the United States?
Who brought them?
How did you get here?
The Jewish organization brought us because my husband lost all his family. And the Greek government says, you Jewish people in Greece, you Jewish people, if you lost all your families, why you don't go to Israel or America? And that's what the people did, the Jewish people. The Christians stay there. All my family is there.
Was that difficult for you to leave Greece and come to a brand new place?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. We all were happy to be Americans. I remember from the time I was a little girl, a neighbor family had their son in America and making money and sent them the money. And I thought they are somebody, you know, and finally he came from America and married and made 2 little girls. And they are here in Boston, Massachusetts. Now they are 65, 68 years old, the 2 girls. Yeah. They came in Boston. And when I came to America, I was looking for them, but I can't find them.
How did you choose America instead of Israel?
Israel wasn't rich country, it was broken as can be. So America is America.
You presumably came on a boat, didn't you?
In the boat, yeah.
Yeah.
15 days.
15 days.
15 days in the boat.
Was that exciting or were you seasick?
Well, living my big family, we were, I told you, 9 children and my mother and father. And my mother had many sisters and brothers. And it was difficult. But what can I do? My Jewish husband belongs to America, so I came to America.
Did you come to St. Louis directly or did you?
No. Indianapolis. They told us outside the boat when they unload us, where do you want to go, to Washington or Indianapolis? When he says Indianapolis, in Greek, polis means city. And I say, oh, must be full of Greeks. No Greeks. Plenty of different religions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you went to Indianapolis and you spent how long?
I just moved. My husband died in 2000, October 20, and I moved to St. Louis with my children. Yeah.
Okay.
Me and my husband stay in, he begged me, let's go to St. Louis to be with the children. No, because I like the house we had, the neighborhood, very beautiful.
How often did you go back to Greece?
Once I went,
Just
all
once?
the years,
Really?
never went back again. I have my family here. Why I have to go back to Greece?
think
And
it's
I
a
am
question.
from the northern part. You know, I told you I'm the neighbor of Alexander the Great. And I didn't want to go. Because Albania is on the north, Yugoslavia, Bulgaria, Romania. Yeah. The Macedonian state was full of these people. Albania, Yugoslavia, and Bulgaria. Special Yugoslavian people, full. Macedonia was, from Yugoslavian people, yeah. My town, which had factories, they came to work in the factories, yeah.
How did you?
The name of the owners of the factories was Lanaras, 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 the family's name. Oh.
That's in your hometown, Noosa?
Exactly.
What was the name of the factory itself?
Lanaras,
Oh, the name of the
yeah,
name of the
Lanaras, the last name of the owners, yeah.
How did you team up with the Jewish Welfare Federation to bring you here, or did you have to file papers? Did they come to you? How?
Well, the Jews helped us, yeah, and we came. The Jews paid for us to come to America.
Did
Yeah.
you have to have a sponsor?
What?
Did you have to have a sponsor to come to America?
I don't think so. The Jewish organization was. The Jewish organization was,
Okay.
yeah. Their Kirschbaum, you remember Kirschbaum, on 25th and Meridian? Yeah. Their country club, you call? No.
No, it's the Kirschbaum.
Oh,
It was
Kirsch-
a Jewish Community Center.
Yeah. Was in our neighborhood where the organization brought us and put us in an apartment which was a double house and turned into 4 apartments. And we were up there, and Rina born there, and Esther born there, and then I bought a house. Yeah. So when I told my husband what he found me on the street with them, they were little, he says, "What are you doing here?" He was coming from downtown. I said, "I'm looking to buy this house." "We don't have any money." "You don't have." Under the mattress, I saved $2,000, 5 years. Took me 5 years. And I took the money out of the mattress, gave down payment. The house was $9,000.
How were you able to do that? How were you able to, how'd you get the cash in
Nobody.
the first place?
I am the owner of the apartment.
Okay.
Sure, the children don't do such a thing. The husband don't fix the bed. So I saved $2,000 under the mattress.
How come you didn't take the $2,000 and go to the casino and try to make more?
I never play cards in my life. Never, never. I never drink. Even I come from the most famous town producing wine and ouzo. I have a bottle in my apartment just to look. Nausa, Macedonia, Greece. Yeah.
Did you link up with a Greek community in your new hometown of Indianapolis?
Indianapolis, yeah.
Okay.
I used to start going to the Greek church. You remember downtown?
Yeah.
In downtown Indianapolis was a tiny Greek church, and I used to go there. Yeah.
There's some
My
merits.
husband never told me, don't go to the church. Never, never, never. I can't complain about the religion. never. I used to take them.
Well, so you now have seen the war and you've helped a Jewish family like that. So what advice would you give to the world today as we live in a crazy world like
Well, that's the way we are. Our brains, some brains work okay, some brains don't work okay. That's it. I have good parents. I will never forget my good father for not drinking, not gambling, not running around with women or anything. And my mother cooked from morning till night the best food for us, the 9 children. Oh, I don't have complaints about my parents. Very, very good. And they don't have complaints from me. Yeah.
That's another interview.
So that's it.
I know that you've been honored by the Jewish community locally.
Yeah,
for what
I
your
have
family's
the
done.
paper in my living room, beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, because we took care of 7 people during the war, hiding them the best way.
And you make it sound so natural that your parents decided to do this,
Yeah,
but I don't know that it is so natural in today's world.
well, what can you do? It's, to kill people is better than to save people. I'm glad my parents were good people.
Yes.
Yeah, my father and mother, they took such a good care. See, my mother used to take Mrs. Alvo, the Jewish woman, with her to the American Red Cross. And they asked her at the office, who is she, Mrs. Makas? And she said, my sister from Albania. And she was from the next town, Jewish family. And my mother says, my sister from Albania. Yeah, I just see my mother and Mrs. Salvo together, the Jewish woman. I just see them walking to go for food.
Did you keep in touch with that family in the years after the war?
Oh, yeah. And that's how I met my husband. I
Right.
went to visit them in their town, which is not too far away from my town. And knock in many doors, and I can find where is the door. In those days, nobody had telephone. In those days, nobody had addresses. And finally, I knock in a door, and here comes the door-in-law, who came first in our home. And she says, oh, Nita, my in-laws went to your town to say thank you to your family. And they brought sugar, wheat, corn, everything to give us to say thank you for what we did for them.
How
Yeah.
about in the years after
And
that?
as I sitting there, somebody knocked at the door. I see from the balcony and I see a good-looking boy. And I say to the door-in-law, Katina, someone is on the door. She sees him and says, oh, he's our cousin. I say, Jewish, you know, because the Christian Orthodox people were fanatic. And I married him in Salonika in a temple.
Did the Greek, sorry, Michael, did the Greek people get mad at you for marrying a Jew?
No. Everybody was sorry for what happened to the Jews, you know, for the Nazis to kill every Jewish family. Everybody was sorry. Yeah.
And after you met and married your husband, did you keep in touch with the Jewish family that your family had sheltered?
Yeah.
What kind of connections did you maintain, or did you?
Well, in the beginning, I used to write letters.
Okay.
Yeah, no telephones. Cost fortune. We didn't have no money in those days.
Sure.
So
What did you learn about their lives once they were able to survive and
they
go on?
were happy to survive in our home. Yeah. I just see them having the 2 rooms, one on the second, one on the third. I will never forget.
Can you tell us about their lives after the 1940s?
Well, they were in their town, and I told you, I went and met my husband.
But
And
how
I
about in
used
the
to go.
decades
I
following?
used to go a little bit when I was living in my husband's house because it was about 5, 6 houses farther. And there was a temple down near the river. I never went to the Jewish temple because I used to go to the Greek Orthodox Church. And my husband never told me, don't go. And I used to take them. I can't say a bad word about him to stop me, my religion. Religion brings anti-Semitism and nothing else. That's what I suspect. And that's,
What do you mean by that, Ma?
well, we hate each other because of our religions. The Jews hate the Christians hate the Jews, and so on.
But your family overcame that because you're
Yeah,
living in one household.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
What became of them in the decades
I will
to
never
follow?
forget my mother taking Mrs. Salvo with her to the American Red Cross to get food. I will never. I saw her walking the two together. Yeah. And Mr. Alvo, such a nice, decent man. No dirty business, no nothing. Very nice people. I can say bad words. And then I met their nephew, and he just died in 2000, October 20. And he is the father of my 3 children. He was the father, he is dead now. Yeah. Yeah, Rina has a picture in her album with my husband's cemetery. Cemetery.
His
Yeah.
tombstone.
Huh?
His tombstone.
Tombstone you call?
You know what we could do? I've got some photos. Maybe we could have. So this one is titled Pop's Family. Can you tell us about this?
His father, his mother, Pop, his brother, his little sister, his sister Daisy, and that is the sister of his mother.
Do you remember their names?
Well, his name is Asher, her name is Rina, my husband Reuben. He's Avram, who died in Israel. This is Daisy, who died before. And this is Esther, who died when we were in America in 1953. She was married to Isaac Daboch.
Okay.
This is my school. I'm under Turkish occupation. That's what they teach us in our schools. The Turks and the Muslims were terrible to us, to Greece. This is my first cousin.
And which one are you?
There was a black.
That's you.
Yeah,
Do you remember how old you are?
12.
12.
That's all I went, 6 years
Okay.
in the 6th grade, and we are in a park here. This is my husband's family, and this is the little girl whose family we kept. She was in our home during the war.
And what's everybody's names in this?
This is Esther, this is Avram, and I know her name. I don't remember. I know her name. And this is my husband's father,
All right, so let's,
Asher.
here?
Yeah. Asher, my husband's mother, my husband. No, there is my husband.
Here?
His mother's brother, or maybe his brother, his father's. I knew, but by now I forget. But that is my husband there.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're right. He is a good-looking man.
yeah,
And this is all his family?
yeah, all his
Okay.
family.
Do you know where this picture would have been taken?
In Veria, in their own town.
Okay.
Yeah, because they were little, was before the war. Before the war. Hitler's war.
Right.
Yeah. Look how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 children. My. 8 they were all together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great photo.
From so many years, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. His grandparents.
Do you remember their names?
Well, Asher? No. Oh, I don't remember. Let's see, my husband's grandparents? No, wasn't Asher and Rina. No, was, I don't remember, because I didn't meet them. They were dead by the time I met my husband.
That is an old-time photo.
Exactly.
We think those are his parents.
Papa's parents?
Reuben-
After Gary?
Reuben is his name, and I don't know her name.
No. To Papa's grandparents.
Or maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's labeled
Papa's
grandparents.
grandparents they are.
This is titled Pop's Family.
Yeah.
Okay, we looked at this, right.
Yeah. Father, mother, that is her sister, the mother's sister. And when she died, the sister took care of the children, the 8 children. Yeah. She died giving birth to the 8th child, and she took the family on. And then the war started in 2 years, and everybody disappeared. Yeah.
That's good. Let me see if I can find this here.
My school in 12th grade, and we are in a park. Look at me playing drum. Yeah.
That's you?
Yeah. 12 years old.
And this is in your hometown?
Yeah, exactly. Now some Macedonia, Greece.
How old would you have been?
12,
12.
6th grade.
All right, so 1937, the war hasn't come.
Not nice. I
Not
born
yet.
in 1925. Oh yeah, 1937 I was 12. No, the war wasn't done yet.
Was it a happy childhood for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this is in a park.
Do you remember?
In the city.
Okay. So these are all people from your class?
The name of the park was Kioski. Kioski. Yeah, those are all the 6th grade. I play the drums
How long did you stay with the drums?
until the 6th grade finish, and
Okay.
I didn't go to high school because here comes the Nazis, first Mussolini, and that's it. Rina, έχεις το air conditioner?
No,
Εγώ βλέπω κρύο έρχεται.
I opened the door for a minute.
Πήγαινε κλείστο.
I did.
Oh. Here's my father, my brother, my other brother in Australia, my sister dead, my brother dead, and my father died in 1975. Lambros Makas.
Okay. As long as we're up with this photo, can you remind me their names?
Yeah, Lambros Phokion, the son of Socrates. Theophilos, Philos of God. Polyxeni, and that is her. And my father is Lambros, I told you. We call the Easter Lambri in Greek. Some people, some states, not the Macedonian state, we call Pascha, but some states call Lambri, I remember. And his name is Lambros. We celebrate on the Easter day. Everybody will come to get something sweet. That's what we serve.
Do you know where this photo would have been taken?
In my town,
Okay.
outside in the park.
All right.
Yeah, he's in the park.
Do you know when?
Not in the park, it's στον Άγιο Νικόλα, στην εκκλησία πάνω, στο βουνό. It's in a mountain and has this church, Saint Nicholas. Yeah, and we are up there. Yeah, my father, my brother, my other brother, which is in Australia. Yeah.
Do you know
It
what
looks
year?
like soldiers are there.
Okay. Yeah, it does. Do you know what year this might have been?
Oh, I'm not here, huh? So maybe it was during the war.
Possibly.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. We came to America in 1951. He went to Australia in 1958. My younger brother, for Keon.
Why did he go to Australia?
Because everybody was leaving Greece. No business, no work, no nothing. So many people left for Australia in the 50s, after Hitler's war.
Okay.
Yeah, he's up in a church. This is my husband's family. This is my mother.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you know, is this in your home?
In my town, Nausea,
Okay.
in our home.
All right. What are your most vivid memories? Well, you said she was a remarkable cook and housekeeper.
and-
What else can you tell me about her?
She wasn't, she didn't have any education. She came from Albania to Macedonia, Greece, 12 years old in 1912. She born in 1900. So she didn't know nothing. That's why she was cooking,
When did she pass away?
Because in 1979, 1979. Yeah, my father died 75, she died 79.
In Greece?
Yeah.